Okay. So, hey everybody, NovelistCrim here, and welcome to Writing Company and Motivation. What this is, it's an accountability stream where we get together, we do some writing, and kind of push our dreams a little bit forward. Essentially, this stream is usually hosted around Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, so if you haven't, you can catch us live then. And I recommend you leave a follow because it's a great way to get notified when we do this type of stuff. So, what we're going to be doing here today is going to be doing a little bit of journal writing in order to kind of warm ourselves up, and also collect your thoughts. And if there's any like writing discussions or challenges that I've faced recently, I'll write about it. And then we'll have a vocal discussion about the journal entry. If you guys are interested in reading the journal entry that I write up here on stream, you can certainly have access to that. You can go into our Discord by hitting !Discord and chat. And that's a great way to get the access to the channel where you can talk to me, talk to other creatives, and also check out the journal entries and some of our stream highlights, which we post on the channel as well as on YouTube, which is really fun. I recommend it. It's a great way to get kind of like all the tidbits of information if you guys miss stream. But tonight we're going to be having a pretty fun night, I think. I feel energized and ready for writing. And I feel like listening to some hoppin' music. So first we're going to start things off a little bit chill in order to keep the motif with the editing stuff, or I'm sorry, the journal entry things that we do. And then we're going to go into some more party music while we write. Because it's a Friday and I like to live it. So let's get things rolling here, shall we? So let's talk about some writing topics. All right, so today's topic, let me refresh my memory because feeling kind of spacey today. Let's see here. All right, so one of the writing challenges that I've come across growing up as a writer is letting go. Big concept, letting go. And also the concept of an idea becoming a little bit too solid. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by too solid? Well, let's think of it this way. So let's say you come up with like an idea that you absolutely love, right? And that idea, let's say, in my case, was a magic system. Now you spend like months working on this magic system. You really like hammer in what the ideas should be. What do you call it? So let's say that you guys like really enjoy like this magic system and you put like tons of hours into working on this. Could be even months and weeks because that's what I did. As you move forward through the idea creation process, the more you invest in an idea, the more it becomes solid. And it gets to a point where you kind of like build up this like psychological block where you're like thinking, okay, because this exists, it's no longer able to change. It becomes almost like a rock. It becomes solid. And because of that, it gets really hard to like kind of, you know, move around that object. It's almost like you're either gonna have to shoehorn the idea into the book, or you have to work around it, which is a real pain in the butt. Also, hi Juno. Nice to meet you. And welcome. So let's see here. Let me refresh my memory here. So one of the most important things that I've learned as a writer is like sometimes when those ideas are like holding you back, or you're forced to like, you know, bend over backwards in order to make this idea work, or trying like constantly, you find yourself like, you know, sluggishly trying to write around this concept that almost feels you know, immovable like a rock. Sometimes you have to consider whether or not that should change. Either, you know, let it become once again loosey-goosey and soft where you can, you know, kind of create the story, because I think that's like at the end of the day, that's the big picture, right? The true goal is to make sure that the story makes it, you know, from beginning. So like there's a couple of ideas that I had to let go in the past, and you know, it's been kind of like a, you know, a very relieving sort of thing, in order to just let your ideas flow and then take the path of least resistance. Always follow the fun whenever you can. For me, when it comes to writing, it is a living, breathing, organic thing. Things can and should change. stagnation in a way is death, and it can also cause a lot of issues in the beginning portions of like a story, especially in the creation of it. So when you're starting off, make sure to be playful, be sure to have fun, and enjoy the changes for what it is. And sometimes I think like any cool idea that you have, there usually is a way to come out and explain how it's possible, what could be done. And I think that could lead actually to another interesting topic, which is the concept of looking at possibilities. I think that a lot of times, like when people look at it like a big problem, they have a big task. Oftentimes they look at the obstacles and think of like, okay, well, I have all these problems and these are all the things that could go wrong. But instead, like, I think shifting your mind into what is possible, I think your mind is like one of the most beautiful and intricate pieces of, I guess, technology. Organic technology, really. Well, it's a useful tool, let's say. Your mind is a useful tool, and it can be used to answer so many of the questions that you have lying around your head. So if you ask your brain a question of like, why can't I do this? It's going to go trundle around and try to figure out all the reasons why you can't. Whereas if you say, well, what are the ways I can do something? How can I? If you ask the right questions, sometimes you get the right answers that help. Your brain cannot resist answering those questions for you. It's almost like, being told not to think about an elephant, and then all of a sudden you do, right? So being cautious of like what you're trying to like, hold inside your head is kind of like a key thing. So looking at your creation process through a little bit of more of like positivity and being like, okay, well, what is possible? What can I do? How can I continue this story, or weave this in or explain an idea that I want to bring into this story because I love it and it's cool? There's got to be a way to explain it, and you'll find that oftentimes there is. I think in the most recent story that I'm working right now, my novel, on chapter 10, I have this scene where I have the main characters are trying to rescue as many prisoners as they can before they try to make their big finale escape. However, the scene starts off with like a lot of conflict and a little bit of a wizard duel of sorts, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. But then there is like a defeat on the bad guy's side, but a promise that they will return. So now you have somewhat of a ticking clock. Now, the villain, I know, grabbed a certain amount of prisoners and placed them, specifically in certain amount of like, prisons, right? Now, I want to explain that those prisoners are there for a reason. But when I introduced them into the scene, I found out that like introducing them was kind of boring. They didn't have any talking roles. They were there for, being their sake, and they didn't add anything to the story. They didn't fight, they didn't talk, they didn't do anything. In fact, they had the issue of kind of cheapening one of the moments where the main character gets his first weapon, and this is like, his shift into the new world, where now he becomes a fighter rather than a runner, right? So I didn't like that scene at all. And also it acts as like a big speed bump that slows things down, and it doesn't build toward that tension and excitement that I want for that big finale break out of prison scene. So I kind of realized that even if them being there is logical, I feel like I have to let them go, because for the sake of storytelling, to make sure that the story, the pacing, and the excitement continues, I gotta let them go. Just don't write about them. Or you open the door and you find out that they're dead or something. I think that it's a hard choice, because it's something that you want, that you like, built up in your mind, that like, okay, well, this has to happen because that's the way I planned it. But when it comes down to the big picture stuff and trying to like have the best possible storytelling, getting into the habit of like killing your darlings and getting rid of those scenes sometimes that you really, really enjoy, or you think that you should add, when in reality it's not serving the story. I think that's one of the key parts to being, to becoming a novelist. kind of making those executive decisions and being like, okay, well, even though I like this, I have to like be professional about it and recognize that the reader might not like this and it's going to be boring, because I find myself being bored, and therefore that translates into the story, so it could be dangerous. So yeah, let's see here. All right, guys, we're going to be winding it down tonight because it is time to end the stream. So for those of you who are new here, again, my name is NovelistCrim. This was Writing, Company, and Motivation, a stream hosted by the Grimsdale writing community. So we usually host these streams around 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Let's see here. If you guys are new, I recommend you leave a follow. It's a great way to get notified when we do this type of stuff. You can also check out our Discord by hitting !Discord. And the benefit there is that you can get the journal entries that we write at the beginning of the streams that has like a little bit of information about writing advice, as well as like, you know, how I'm doing basically as on the journey of being a writer. We also have our stream highlights that are logged on there as well, so you can kind of snag those, and it's a lot of good writing advice and also fun times in general. So I think you'll like the good vibes there. If you guys are missing out on these things, don't worry. We do have highlights also on YouTube, so you can check out that if you aren't just subscribed. I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, I appreciate the love and support. Thank you so much for coming out, guys, and take it easy. Let's see, one more thing before we leave, because this is new and cool and I wanted to share it. But anyways, I think you'd enjoy this, guys. Take it easy, and as always, stay passionate.